Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. My name is Lori DeGroosh from Lori Marie Crafts, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Calgary, Alberta. Beautiful, sunny Calgary this fall. And I like to come live every Thursday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time to share fun tips, techniques, inspiration with you, teach crafting and using your crafting supplies. If you're ever looking for some more information, then you can always check out my website, which is loritamariecrafts.ca, and you can find, I think, all the information that you need over there. Today, I'm so excited. We're going to be making 2 cards that feature the Gingham Cottage Designer Series paper from the July to December mini catalog from Stampin' Up. And it is like my favorite paper, possibly, in this catalog. It's so much fun, and I'm excited to use it today. We're going to be making 2 cards using the same layout, so I can show you how you can use the same idea but create 2 different cards just by changing up the colors and stuff. So thank you for taking the time to be with me today. Say hi in the comments and tell me, maybe if you're far away where you're watching from. And if you're taking time to watch the replay later, I also really appreciate that. And if you ever need any help, you can always send me a message and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So yeah, hopefully you guys are having a good day. I was having a morning where I was just like, it was a little slow start. And then I remembered I had a Starbucks gift card. And so I went to Starbucks. And they were so nice to me this morning. Look, they put like a happy message on my cup. Sometimes that's all it takes, right? To make your day. It's just like a nice little message. Or maybe a handmade card. Maybe if you just send a handmade card to somebody. That's an idea. It would make their day. And also here in Canada, of course, we are looking forward to Thanksgiving this weekend. And I mean, it's going to be beautiful weather. It's going to be so nice. I mean, lots of times it's really nice on Thanksgiving, but so I'm really looking forward to that. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving this weekend, maybe tell me what you're most looking forward to. I love Thanksgiving here in Canada because it's a really relaxed holiday. It really is just about gathering for a meal. And so I'm excited to have my family over on Sunday for dinner. And my favorite things are stuffing, my dad's stuffing, and the turkey, of course. But the turkey must be smothered in cranberry sauce, homemade cranberry sauce, not like from a can, and the baking, of course, any kind of baking. So apple pie. I'm not really a pumpkin person, so pumpkin pie is not my thing, but I'm going to be making jams, which is like one of my grandma's recipes, and I'm going to be making pecan pie bars instead of pecan pie. Saw it on Magnolia, so I'm excited about that. So all the baking, all the healthy things, right? Okay, so before we get crafting today, I am going to just quickly mention my October class. I am so excited about this class. It's using the same stuff I'm using today, so you can see how it all works. So it features the Gingham Cottage Designer Series paper, and I have showed this a few times, but I'm going to show it again. So here is the paper. How can I show it to you? It comes in so many colors: red, green, yellow, pink, like mint kind of green, black and white, orange for Halloween. I mean, it comes in anything that you can want. And so my class is going to be featuring that paper, and you're going to make 4 projects. And so what I wanted to do was to show you how to use this paper and how it could be used for any occasion. So you're going to be making 2 cards that are gift card holders with matching envelopes, like made out of the paper. And then you're going to be making 2 cute treat bags with the cute little peekaboo bags. And but one's going to be Christmas themed, one project, and one was kind of like all occasions, so kind of fall or whatever. And then you can use it for birthdays, anniversaries, or just to send a nice gift to a friend. Yes, and so get my words out here. I really wanted to use this paper in a class because the package in the catalog is actually huge. It is 48 sheets of paper, and it is like $41. So this way in my class, you're going to get to try this paper out. If maybe you're thinking, I don't need 48 sheets of paper. This way you get a quarter of the package of paper. You're also going to get cardstock. I love to include cardstock so that you have a way to create more with this. And you don't even use this in the class. This is just extra for you to use. So it comes in coordinating colors. You're going to get the black and white gingham ribbon, which we're going to use today. And I'm also including some of the gold leaf gold holly leaves. Yes, for the Christmas projects. And the peekaboo treat bags. And all the stuff you need to make the project. So I'm going to post a link here. I learned that I could do that. So that's exciting. So I'm going to post a link, and it's going to tell you everything you need to know about my class, just on my website, and how to register and everything like that. So you have until next Thursday to register for the class. This is a class to go. So it comes with a PDF of the basic dimensions, plus a full video tutorial to take you step by step how to make the projects. Now, I also offer just a card kit. So if you just want the card kit, I'll show you those cards. So you get to make 6 cards, 3 of each design, and it gives you a little hint to what the other projects might look like. And I can't turn it the right way. It's like backwards. There we go. So this is the card kit. And so in the card kit, you get everything you need to make the cards, except for like the stamp and ink. And you make 6 cards for $20. So everything, click that link, go check it out. And then if you have any questions, you can let me know. Okay, so you're here for the crafting, right? So let's get to the crafting bit. So I want to make projects for you guys that you can then go and recreate, right? I'm hoping to give you some ideas and tips so that you can go ahead and make your cards. So what I did is I designed a layout here in 2 totally different color schemes so that you can see how you can use the Gingham Cottage paper in all its fabulous different colors. And I'm also going to be featuring the Christmas banners bundle, which is back in stock. The dies were out of stock and I was sad, but now it's back in stock. So crisis averted. So this is the stamp set, and that's why it's kind of shiny there. And it's got the coordinating dies, especially for the banners, which are fun. And then there's all these great leaf shapes. And then, of course, all the images you can cut out with your dies as well. So let's get going. So for the first one, it's going to be Christmassy. So I'm going to use a real red card base. And so this is just a piece of cardstock cut in half at 5.5 by 8.5, scored in half at 4 1/4. Get all my dimensions out here. I'm just going to use a bone folder. Okay, and then you just kind of look through your amazing pack of Gingham Cottage paper, and I'm choosing this pattern here today, and it's the black and white for the base here, and I'm going to cut this to, do I have it written down somewhere? Yes, 3 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Now, if you're ever looking for the dimensions for these projects I make on Thursdays, I actually send out a PDF in my Friday email that has pictures of the projects, the supplies I use, and all the basic dimensions so that you can recreate these projects. Save it as a resource for when you're ready to create. So that's how you kind of get all the dimensions. So you be sure to subscribe to my email list, which you can do. There's a button here on Facebook, or there's links around. So this is going to be the base of my card. And then we're going to do some stamping today that I think you're really going to love how it turns out. It was kind of fun to play around with it. So I'm just kind of putting this in the middle of my card. So you can see how you can choose whichever, pattern of the paper that you like. And then I've got a piece of basic white here that I've cut to 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And now we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to grab the leaves that look more like a spruce tree or fir tree, right? So that is more Christmassy. And to keep with our Christmas colors, I'm going to use garden green. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just kind of stamp this like in a little circle. Okay, so we're just going to kind of do this. Okay, and then if you want to fill it out a bit more, then you can stamp off and then fill in between. You could have done this the first time around, but I just kind of wanted to show it by itself. And so you're kind of creating a wreath effect just from that one die. Or stamp, sorry. It's not a die at all. Okay. And then I'm going to add in some red. So these are the little like holly berries, and they're supposed to go with this little like stick, and those can be cut out too. But what I'm going to do is grab my real red here. And I think I want this block again. So I'm just going to clean this off with my chamois. Okay. Get rid of that. And then we're going to pick up the berries. And then instead of putting them this way, I'm actually going to stamp them upside down. And then they kind of go with the branches if you do it upside down. And I'm going to do it on the darker ones so that they're kind of just, and I'm not even going to do it on every single one. I'm going to do it on every other one. So kind of like that. So let's clean that off. And then this kind of, you know, messy middle is going to be covered up with the sentiment. So for the sentiment, I wanted to use this nice big banner like this, where it kind of crisscrosses. So I hadn't actually used this one yet or made a card with it. So I was excited to try it out. So I'm actually just going to stamp it in black so we can kind of ground to that black that we have on the paper. So this is just the Memento Tuxedo Black ink pad. And then we're just going to ink it up. So because the black is a felt pad, not the nice foamy ones from the other colors, sometimes I just pick it up and look at it and make sure I've got good coverage, because this has some solid pieces on it, right? So that stamp's pretty good. Nice and crisp. And then there are coordinating dies. So if you have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine or a die cutting machine, you can grab the dies and it cuts it out perfectly. Now remember, these only go one way. So if it's like, oh, I can't line that up, just flip it over. And so I've gone ahead today and cut them out ahead of time. So here's what it looks like, already cut out and ready to go. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment in there. And so I'm going to do Merry Christmas. Just keeping it traditional here. And, oh, I think I was going to use green. Red or green, doesn't matter. It's all good. So we'll just stamp the Merry in the first one. And then the Christmas here. And because it's photopolymer, you can see through to get your stamping in the right spot, more or less. So that's good. Let's put that away. And then we're just going to assemble our card. So this is a quick card to put together. So just to make this pop out a bit more, I'm going to layer it up on another piece of cardstock. So I just chose Garden Green. So it's the Garden Green is cut at 1/8 of an inch bigger than the white. So it's 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. And so I'm just going to center to that. And then we're going to put this onto our card. And just center it like so. Okay, now we need to get that awesome black and white gingham ribbon, right? We need to use this. I was telling my sister the other day that there's not much ribbon where I've bought multiple times, right? But I was so glad they brought this ribbon back, because I have bought many spools of this ribbon. And because I like to use it on other things, packaging, whatever, right? Like not just cards. I love it for everything. So that's about 13 inches. And I'm just kind of going to make it look like a bow without it being a bow. So I just usually put seal down, and then you can kind of form it to how you want it to look. If you need a little bit more, or you can use glue dots or tear and tape. I just kind of wanted it to be Come on, cooperate, like that. And then I'm going to grab dimensionals for the back of this, which are always the first thing I lose when I'm crafting. There they are. And then we're just going to use dimensionals to pop this up. So, of course, you can keep adding layers if you want to this card. So if you want to add gems, the red rhinestones are such a good basic gem, especially because we've got those holly berries on there. You could add the red gems in there. You could add those gold holly leaves that are going to be included in my class to add a little gold. There's all sorts of fun things you could add. But that is the first card. And so now what I want to do is show how you can take the same layout and all these same products essentially and create a completely different card. So that one's kind of more traditional Christmas. So let me just tuck that out of the way. And so the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to use a mint macaron card base. And then you can pick one of the fun colors that you like that are kind of, could be for any occasion. So the other colors that are included in this paper is, this is So Saffron. There's actually mint macaron as well. And there's Calypso Coral. And so you've got lots of options. Plus you've got your oranges for fall, like your actual pumpkin pie color. And so you have so many options for different occasions. So this paper is going to take you through not just Christmas, but beyond. Okay. So obviously you can see it's going to look much different than our Christmas card, but we're using the same idea. And I'm going to show you a similar way to stamp, but now of course we don't want it to look Christmassy. So let's put that on, and then let's grab our white again. So this time I'm going to use these two images here that don't necessarily scream like Christmas to me, right? They really could be for any kind of foliage kind of look, right? So the first thing we're going to do is grab this one, and we're going to use mint macaron. And then we're just going to do the same thing. Let's see how far I want to spread that out. We're just going to go in a circle and stamp this on. Okay, so we've got that. And then now we're going to grab the Calypso Coral and this other leaf image. And I'm going to do the same stamp off just so it's not as dark. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in here with the Calypso Coral. Right, so now I've just created a wreath that would be perfect for any occasion and year round, really. This isn't tied to any time of year. So that's looking so good. And so I am going to put this on to Calypso Coral just to tie my colors together. So this is again 3/4 inch square, and then the Calypso Coral is 1/8 of an inch bigger, 3 3/8. And we can just go ahead and put this on our card. And then we can go ahead and take the same ribbon and put that on our card. So now you can see how you can make multiples of this without it taking too much time. So you can whip out, okay, I'll make a couple Christmas cards. I'm going to make a couple birthday cards. So for our sentiment, you're wondering, well, this stamp set doesn't have, it just has Christmas sentiments in it. So then what you do is you dig through your stash if you've got some other stamp sets. And I was just seeing something that was small and skinny that would fit into the same kind of look. And so the Happiness Abound stamp set was perfect because you can see all the sentiments are really small. And so what I'm going to do is grab the Happy Birthday. And it is all together. Some people are brave or crazy and they snip up their photopolymer stamps but I'm not into that. But you can just ink up the happy. There's a nice break between the happy and birthday. So I've just gone on the edge of my ink pad and I've just inked up the happy. And then I'm going to stamp that. And then you're going to want to clean it. Don't forget to clean it in between. So the chamois is absolutely perfect for photopolymer stamps. And then I'm going to just ink up the birthday. So I'm finding this not too hard to do, just eyeballing it because there's a nice space. You can also use washi tape. So tape over the happy, ink it up, peel off the washi tape, and then stamp. So that's another way to do that. And then you see, it's like it was meant to be. It fits just perfect in there. And then we're just going to grab our dimensionals again. And then you can look for some gems again in your collection that go with this. I'm thinking maybe the iridescent gems. They would look pretty on this. I forgot to pull out some gems, so. Okay, and then we're gonna, I know my ribbon is a little uneven. You know, when you're doing when I'm doing my demo one, it always turns out perfect. And then when I'm doing it live, it's always a little bit wonky. Okay, and then we're just gonna plop that in the middle. Fold this over and get it nice and crisp with your bone folder so that it sits nice and flat. And then you've used the exact same layout, but a completely different card. All right, and there's our 2 cards for today. So I hope you like this idea and maybe this is a layout that you will take and use on your own cards, or maybe there's a color scheme here that you like. And if you love this paper, don't forget to sign up for my October class, because then you are going to get to create with this paper and you're going to love it. Trust me, you're going to love it. It's so pretty. Okay, let me bring me back up here. I think that's how it works. There we go. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Let me know in the comments which one's your favorite, the Christmas one or the birthday one. And yes, you have until next Thursday to sign up for my class. And I think that's all that's going on. And stay tuned, actually, because I'm going to have a second class in October, and it's going to be in person and to go for people who don't live in Calgary. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this week. And I am looking forward to coming back next Thursday with another fun project. So until then, we will see you guys. Bye-bye.